Blog, the Adventure Blogcast, episode June 23rd, 2020. You're out there. We love all your support here. So, with that lineup card, my partner at an Angels Fun combined no hitter. Hello, welcome.
Hey everyone.
Thanks for showing up. Assignment. His first home run. That is my fun fact as well. I was with him at that. Let's get to from all Angels much to the Beer Baseball.
Hey, what's going on? Glad to have you be on here after having you guys on the podcast. Is able to everything worked out.
We're so glad, that podcast for to not only baseball blog but also more about Halo Haven, about what can you tell?
You're cutting in and out, Michael. I didn't catch that last question. You're cutting in and out, so I don't know if can you.
Yeah, I can repeat it.
Yeah.
The Halo Haven and All Angels podcast are separate, but they're also together. So could you distinguish the differences between the two?
Yeah. So at one point there were two different entities on their own. Chris Johnson, the guy that started Halo Haven, I met him first through he was doing like a watch party at a local bar down here in Riverside, California, and just kind of following through social media. And then one day me and my wife went to a watch party, really got along with Chris very well, went to a couple games, seen him around. And so he kind of asked me into like, hey, do you want to, join Halo Haven and help me, run the social media aspect of it, kind of bounce ideas off of it. I was like, sure. And so that was probably about, I would say like about 5 years ago. So how the All Angels podcast came into it was my co-host there, Johnny Maggs. He had a podcast already, the All Angels podcast, but he was doing it by himself. And he knew Chris from here and there. They went to high school together, just kind of coincidentally. But Chris has a great collection, and I'm sure a lot of people have seen it on our social media feed. And so Johnny wanted to talk to Chris about how he got the collection and kind of like his whole fandom. And, Chris is a little more shyer than I am as far as talking. So, he's like, yeah, it was fun. He's like, and Johnny's like, come back on. We can talk about the game and this and that. And Chris is like, I don't know. I'm not a big talker. He's all about my friend talking about me. He knows as much as I do, and he loves talking about it. So you should give him a call. So that's how kind of me and Johnny met up with All Angels podcast. So we kind of grew it from there. And then this naturally, because I was already part of Halo Haven with Chris, we kind of brought Johnny along and kind of, they don't want to change like the name of the All Angels podcast because Johnny already did a good job kind of defining what that was. So for me, I was just kind of like the in-between, and then we finally just brought everything together and kind of made it one big happy family, I guess.
Hey, that's awesome. And you guys are all, Angels fans from childhood, or did you guys move here from somewhere?
Yeah, I mean, Chris and John are Riverside raised, Riverside born. I've always been in Southern California, so yeah, I've always been like an Angel fan. And then there's been times where, when you're a kid and you're playing T-ball or Little League, at the time that my fandom, I love baseball. I just didn't really have a fan. I didn't get the concept of following a team. So I was always, 1 year I remember in like T-ball, I was like the Marlins. And so that year, like, yeah, I'm gonna watch the Marlins because their uniforms are exactly like mine. And then the next year I was the Tigers. And then that year I was like, yeah, I'm gonna watch the Tigers because again, their uniforms are just like mine. So for me, I've always been a fan of baseball growing up and just sports in general. But as far as like specifically following the Angels day in and day out and results day in and day out, like I really didn't get a lot into it until I was probably, like high school age where I can actually comprehend about, the strategies and all that stuff about it. But always been a baseball fan, always enjoyed watching and playing the game.
Well, that's a tremendous. I actually I met Chris and Johnny not last year, but the year before, I believe. And I went to spring training, and great guys. And they're super into baseball. I mean, we talked about the Riverside Smudge Pots. They do the whole baseball league, and so I'm looking forward to that. Angelo is a huge Angels fan, so I know that he's really anxious to talk to you as well. But nice. we have an order of business first. We like to know what you are drinking out there. So, Daniel, could you tell us what you're drinking?
Yeah, so I had you guys on our podcast a little while ago, and I was kind of thinking like, I'm not a big craft person, but then I forgot if it was Mike or Angelo or Kevin, but someone brought up Hangar 24, and in my head, because I'm so my family's from Riverside, or my dad's side's from Riverside, so that's always kind of been around, and I was always just thought of it as a bigger brewery. But when you guys said it was craft, and then I feel like, you know what, that's what I'm gonna go with. So I'm going with the Hangar 24, the orange wheat. The can's right there on the picture. I got the bottle, but yeah, so that's kind of like the first kind of craft beer I've ever had, because one time I went to a minor league game. It was the Quakes game with my mom. Had some friends, and then she had extra tickets. So do you want to go? Because again, knowing I'm a big Angel fan, and I was like, sure. And so we got into a sweet kind of party thing, and so they actually had those beers on ice, and so I'd never tried it before. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give it a shot, and I really liked it. But at that time, the Hangar was very new, so I'm thinking it's all over the place, and trying to find it outside of like the Riverside, or not Riverside, the Redlands area, or even outside of the Bevmos and Truly Wine and stuff like that was really hard. So now it's pretty cool to see it kind of grow and in my backyard in Redlands, and then see it kind of everywhere now, at least here in Southern California.
Yeah, I think Kevin said it specifically because that's always our go-to whenever we go out to anywhere out there, and it's really prominent. And it's also this beer is good with locally picked. So you're supporting the farmers, craft breweries, and your kind of envisionment of and now.
It's cutting out again.
Oh, okay. Measurement of craft, kind of helping you.
I still kind of break up. I think I kind of get with the craft beer. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy the taste of it, and so like, yeah, I'm kind of more open out to the craft, going out there and trying stuff. So. Yeah, I just, kind of put a pinky toe into the water with craft beer and just kind of see where it goes. But I think this is my starting point.
Awesome. What are you drinking tonight?
So tonight I am drinking AleSmith Brewing's Sublime Mexican Lager. So as you can see here, some beautiful artwork on the can. ABV on here is 5.2 with no IBU listed. So this, you guys have talked about AleSmith in the past with the 394 Pale Ale in honor of Tony Gwynn. But this beer was created for the 25th anniversary of Sublime's iconic album, 40 Ounces to Freedom. It's very crisp, very light, very similar to a Corona or a Pacifico. So perfect for Taco Tuesday, because once we're wrapped up here, I'll be enjoying some tacos.
And that's one of my favorites.
Oh, he looked like he dropped out. Looks like it's just me. Oh, wait, here we go. We are...
Am I back?
You're back. You're back. Yeah, I can see you and hear you.
Sorry about that, guys. For whatever reason, I have pay for yet. I cannot get it. Shout. So let me drop off. Angels. I'm gonna hop off.
Did you drop off? Oh, wait.
I'm gonna hop off and get right.
Gotcha.
If you can carry on the conversation.
Sure.
So one thing I want to ask you, Angelo, just kind of going back to when you had you guys on the podcast, kind of the same stuff, but just I'm a lighter palate. Like I don't go a lot for the hoppy. So what kind of other stuff? Like obviously I'm doing the Hanger 24, but what other stuff do you enjoy drinking that's not super hoppy? Like some of the guys, like some of the stuff I've seen you guys drink on here seems really up there.
Yeah, my palate's really light too, Daniel. So something like this, the AleSmith Sublime is fine. I had a couple weeks ago, I had Stone Brewing's on Cinco de Mayo. We had Stone Brewing's Buena Veza, which is their salt and lime lager. I had Firestone Brewing's Flyjack, which is a low calorie IPA. So pretty on the lighter, citrusy and lighter side, very similar to, it's like a lighter, orange wheat type. Latitude 33, I had their pale lager. Let's see, what was we had Figueroa Mountain Brewing Co. 101 is their light lager. So that was also very good. So there's definitely a lot. And I'll definitely share with you some recommendations. There's also some that I actually saw at the grocery today that I want to try. So there's a fair share of lighter beers out there.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to...
even like that Flyjack IPA I had. It's low cal, low carb. So actually at Ralph's in the beer section, they actually have a small like low carb, low calorie beer section, and that's where you can, a lot of that's going to be a little bit on the lighter side. With some of the heavier flavors like that Flyjack I was telling you about.
Gotcha. Hey, Michael's back. All right.
So am I okay? So
you're good. You're good.
I super apologize. I was saying before when nobody could hear me that I think we pay like an astronomical amount of money for the internet. I've seen up to speeds of 250 megabytes or whatever, and it goes down to 0 when I stream. So trying to figure it out. I'm literally on my phone hotspot, and so surprisingly that works better. But my apologies and thank you for bearing with us. It's not a podcast if we don't have technical troubles, right?
Hey man,
Absolutely.
live TV is nothing like it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey,
well,
we're live, pal.
yeah, exactly. Totally. All right. So this is what I've been waiting to let you know. My beer tonight is the Woodchoppers IPA. It is from RT Rogers in Sierra Madre, California. Very small little brewery that is right down the street. I'm right outside Pasadena, California. And so this has been something that I love promoting, like these super small breweries that maybe no one would even know about. RT Rogers, I think, started about 2 years ago. And if you come up to Sierra Madre is a very small little town. I call it like Mayberry because it is like one of those towns out of Andy Griffith. It's like they literally have parades down the street. It's like this little throwback city within this huge metropolitan area. So RT Rogers out of Sierra Madre, California, and I'm super glad to promote them. So Angelo was promoting AleSmith, which has grown from a very small little brewery into what it is now. I think they started in 2015. Hanger 24 is one of those other that started really small, and now I believe that they're in California and Arizona.
Yeah,
so
they have a brewery, I think, in Havasu.
Right. So I totally forgot about that, and so that's what's really awesome about these. You get to grow up with these like little places that one day, maybe in 10 years, will be a big thing. Also, I'm representing the Burlington Bees. I believe they're what, A of the Angels?
They are the low A.
Low A of the Angels. And someone was asking me about my hat earlier. This is actually a baseballism hat from Arizona. So I think someone in the comments was asking, is it a Tucson Saguaros cap? It is not. It is not. But I know what you're talking about. And there's a lot of I wanted to even go to Tucson this year to see. I believe that they were going to have the World Baseball Classic qualifiers. And then in Tempe, they were going to have the Olympic qualifiers for baseball. So pandemic, that I'll put that to bed, right?
and it fits too, because since you got the Burlington Bees and they're the low A affiliate of the Angels, and I just happen to be wearing the Cucuys.
There you go.
San Bernardino. So it all worked out. 66ers are literally in my backyard. So me and the guys are there all the time, especially if it happens to be like an off day for the Angels or something like that. It's just a quick ride up the freeway and we're there.
So I already asked this question, and it's probably garbled and everything, and on my side, but yeah, I mean, I love all of this. You've taken your fandom and really found a channel for it and a way to express it and do more things with it. That's what we've done. Angelo is kind of the newest addition to our group because we used to go to Angels games. Kevin and I used to go to Angels games. We see him there all the time. And when we found out he loved beer and had a really vast knowledge, and he's really enjoying learning about all this. So I know that people will probably, because we're in the baseball know, I wanted to ask you, Daniel, what is your thought? Baseball is coming back. Right. There's been a plan in place. What are your thoughts about this? We've been talking about this coming up, in the subsequent weeks of what it's going to be. But it's been kind of scary and risky at the same time. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad it's coming back. Like, let me get that out of the way first. I'm glad as a baseball fan it is coming back. 60 games isn't ideal, but if that's what they kind of implicate, then that's cool. Like, I'm happy with that. There's still a lot of risk going on with the COVID, and you're kind of wondering now, is that going to be the reason why maybe the season doesn't finish? So, I'm just really interested to see how it goes. I'm really interested to see how many players, not just on the Angels, because I'm an Angel fan, but just league-wide, how many players kind of opt out for personal reasons, for maybe they are responsible for taking care of a mom or a dad that's kind of, in that danger zone. Even something as far as free agents where they don't, or upcoming free agents where 60-game sample is going to be really small, and if they feel that's going to hurt them going into the next season, do they maybe opt out, or maybe do they say, "Oh, my shoulder's a little, beat up a little bit after the second spring training. I'm not going to do it." So there's a lot of storylines that are going to come from this in the 60-game period, and I as a fan, I'm really interested to see how it all plays out. But I'm glad it's coming back. I'm scared about 2021 and the CBA negotiations there. Mm-hmm. I think everything that's happened leading up to this point kind of spells trouble with that down the line. But as far as the now, I'm glad that there's some kind of plan in place to where these guys can get back on the field. And even though it's not at the ballpark, we're still able to turn on the TV and watch your favorite players on the field and play against each other.
And Angelo, you were talking about something about the if you get hurt.
Yeah, so I was kind of sharing with my wife earlier about all the stuff that's going on and kind of the implications of what a shortened season can bring. And when you think about the most common and frequent injuries in baseball, so anything that has to do with the obliques or a hamstring or ankle or turf toe, something like that, or a jammed finger, some of those injuries, like 2, 3, 4 week recovery time. So if you encounter that early on in the season, or even worse, towards the back half of the 2-month season, the playoffs are going to be impacted, or you could potentially miss a chunk of the regular season. Also, having not being active and playing at a competitive level for as many months as they have, because I understand, I get they're going to do the spring training before we kick off the season, but we're talking about almost 4 months time from the time they reported to spring training versus the time they're going to report for this spring training. And then 3 weeks from there, they're going to start a 60-game season. So I think training, their eating habits, all these things are going to have to take into consideration of how it's going to impact how they play or their fatigue. And Mike, we were talking earlier about, the DL is going to be a little bit more strict, and you're not going to be able to go on the 10-day DL just because you wanted to get some rest, right? And if you do go on a 10-day DL, you're missing, 5 games, 6 games, maybe 7 games, depending on where it falls. So with the playoff implications being kind of razor thin, like you got to imagine that there's going to be a lot of challenges and adjustments they're going to have to make.
And that's one thing too. I'm really interested to see how serious players take this 60-game season, or if in their head it's just, it's a short exhibition season. Let's just get in, get out. But like Angelo said, if there's a little oblique strain here or a little tightness here, are they going to just be like, you know what, I'm gonna shut it down? It's not worth the risk going into a full season, at least as of right now, next year. And if they're just going to shut it down completely and be like, you know what, I'm good here. Especially some of those higher paid guys that are kind of just settling in and just like, well, I got my contract, I can kind of sit and chill. So that's something really interesting to see. The playoffs aren't going to be expanded for as far as I know right now. So that hurts, as an Angel fan, you would think with the expanded playoffs, you'd be like, all right, cool. They should be able to get in there, no problem. Now it's going to be a little more of a mission. And then if they play, let's say they get to the 50-game mark, you would think they're close, but if they're not, you can start seeing guys being like, all right, you know what, I'm gonna shut it down. It was a good run, we tried, and then now let's move on. So it's gonna be really interesting to see how the players react to something like this, if they're gonna take it as serious as a 162-game season, or if it's just gonna be like, it's a little exhibition season. I can, if I miss a portion of it, I'm not as worried about it as if it was a regular season game or regular season under regular circumstances.
Yeah, and I also think the unintentional consequence with this is think about team chemistry, and the reason why I bring that up is this friend of mine as far as the Angels and the Dodgers, right? Angels, we just brought on Anthony Rendon, so think about the time it would normally take to play with the team to gain chemistry, to gain trust, to get some steam going in the postseason. You look at the Dodgers acquiring Mookie Betts, and David Price. Well, what is that going to look like from a team chemistry standpoint? You can't wait, your typical 30, 40, 50 games in to get that chemistry down, because at that point it's too late. So, teams are going to have to learn how to play together really quickly. And there was a very active free agency period this past offseason. So,
and one thing too, like, I'm not so worried about Rendon just because of the fact he is going to be there for multiple years. It's the ones that Julio Teheran, the Bundys, those guys that are on 1-year deals, and for the GM part of it, how do you make a proper evaluation on those guys in that short of a span? Do you maybe offer them another 1-year contract next year? Are those guys tired of taking 1-year deals and they look for something else? I don't, as a GM, as kind of putting myself in their shoes, I'm just not sure how you're able to evaluate these guys where you make a decision this year, and that falls with Simmons also because he's going to be a free agent at the end of this year. He just came off an injury-plagued year. If he stays healthy for all 60 games, that's great. But again, it's not 162, so you don't know if it's a full year if he gets going to get injured. So a lot of these decisions are going to have to come down to the GM. I just don't know how they're going to make them with such a short sample size.
Yeah, and before, like in a regular season, a team could have a bad month and still make the playoffs.
Look at the Nationals last year.
The wild cards, right? Exactly. And if it wasn't for that one play-in game, I mean, poor was it Grisham? The GOAT in that one. And think about that. If that play didn't happen, they wouldn't be where they are now. So, but that was a tough play. But like, you could have a bad month, a season, and still make the playoffs. You can't have that anymore. Maybe if you have a bad week, that could be the end of the season for you. And there's also something that concerns me as well. And it's a lot of the health stuff. Now, in the United States, we have not experienced this at all. And, you know, the argument is made like these other baseball leagues that are, you know, in Japan and Korea and Taiwan, they've been through this, and they have you know, take the necessary precautions for this. This is all still new to us, and we do not have a lot of our stuff down. In fact, a lot of people are not really taking this even seriously. And so that's where I fear a lot of this as well, that, you know, I don't want anybody to be put at risk to play a baseball season, even though my heart is like wants baseball back.
Yeah.
So, Angelo and I had some questions for you that we were going to rapid fire. So Angelo, I'm going to give you this one.
Sure. So obviously, Daniel, you've been to your fair share of Angels games. So my question is, you know, what's your favorite game you've attended, or, you know, favorite moment you've had in attending an Angels game? And I'll share mine with you too.
And just thinking about it right now is kind of getting goosebumps from it. It is the Tyler Skaggs no-hitter after he passed, the first home game after he passed last year. Not only because of the fact that that's my first no-hitter, even if it's a no-hitter I've seen in person, but the kind of relationship we built with him before his passing through the podcast. He was actually our very first major league player we got on the podcast. Like, we've had other like minor league guys. We've had guys at Illinois Power 66ers, guys at AAA, but he was our first you know, solidified major league player on the podcast. We had him on that spring training. And even leading up to it, he was very cool and talked to us even after the fact. Like I said, it was before we went to spring training. So a quick story, you know, me, Chris, my wife, and Johnny, we were just there kind of hanging out and downtown Scottsdale. And you know what, I've had a couple. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to text him. Hey, we're going to be at the game tomorrow. Is it cool if I meet you when you drive in just to get a quick ball sign for the podcast? And I'm just thinking, if he didn't already block my number, he's probably going to do it now. So, but to his credit, he responded back to me, and he was like, yeah, dude, I'll be there. I usually show up between this and that. So I was like, oh my God. So me and my wife get there early. He's not there. And I'm kind of like, oh, maybe he stood me up, which whatever, these guys are busy. And then he shoots me a text, like out of nowhere. He's like, hey, dude, I'm running late. I'll be there, like 20 minutes later. We're like, oh, dude, I don't even care. That's fine. So sure enough, he rolls up. He's like, oh, look for this car. He rolls up, rolls down his window, gets a ball sign, talked a little bit, and he rolls in. And so even after that, we chatted back and forth. And so to see that whole day play out, the no-hitter and his wife, who I'm still pretty close with, and his mom throw out the first pitch, that by far is my favorite memory at Angel Stadium.
Yeah, and Daniel, I'll share that sentiment, man. I've been in my fair share of games, and I've witnessed a lot of milestone moments at Angel Stadium. I was there for the divisional series against the Royals a few years back, which, I mean, nothing like playoff baseball, right?
We were at game one, so yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
So was I, and I was there when Albert hit 600. And that was awesome. But for sure, my favorite game I've attended was that combined no-hitter. And I was with a friend of mine, and there's a point in time we kind of looked at each other because you don't acknowledge it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Verbally,
yeah. That's exactly what we did. Yeah,
we just kind of look at each other and like, okay, like this is going down. And I think really what really solidified that as the favorite game or moment that I've ever attended is last week. It was actually on Fox Sports. They'd replayed it.
Yeah.
And my wife was like, why are you watching an old game? I was like, oh, this is the game with the combined no-hitter.
Yeah.
And that final out when Renfigo bobbled it,
and you're just like, oh my God, yeah.
got it to first. Like immediately when they called that out, like I immediately got goosebumps again all over. And then for me, everyone removing the jersey and throwing it on the mound. Like I'm sitting here a year after it happened, watching it on TV, and I experienced it live. And there's tears running down my face.
Oh yeah.
And it's like that to me solidifies and proves that the impact that it had, not just from a historic baseball moment, but I guess, Mike and I talk a lot about, serendipity in baseball, and you can't get any serendipitous than that, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's awesome, man. Thanks for sharing.
It's so funny too, because you say it in real quick. You're on an emotional roller coaster that whole game. We're there before the game. We see the memorial in front of the Angel Stadium. Kind of tears roll down your cheek. Then you get inside, you get comfortable. They do the opening ceremony thing with the players. You start, again, get emotional again. The no-hitter happens, and now you went from completely, sad, and then it builds up, boom, no-hitter. You're happy, you're jumping around, and then you see, like you said, the players putting the jersey on the mound, and now you're just back into that, wow, what just happened? And now it kind of brings you back, and now you're not sad, but you're sad because of the fact that that Tyler wasn't there in person to enjoy it, but it was just a literal roller coaster of emotions that whole day.
And you don't get that a lot in baseball. There's a lot of other sports that you can kind of, I don't know, like for instance in basketball, they for Kobe, they ran off 24 seconds off the clock. There's not a lot of baseball things where you can actually plan that. I remember when Jose Fernandez died, D Gordon hits a home run, right?
And D Gordon was also on Seattle that night too, so that was pretty crazy also.
Oh wow! I wow, that's crazy. I didn't even know that. So I mean, in baseball, that doesn't happen, and it was almost like it was scripted, to happen. And what a beautiful moment that was. All right, so my questions are next. It's a two-part question.
Cool.
Your favorite Angel players that are not Mike Trout, because Mike Trout is all of our favorite. We totally get it. But also I wanted to know what is the future, or who should we be looking out for the Angels coming up?
So I guess I'll go favorite player first, not named Mike Trout. Let me ask you this: active or non-active? I can go both.
How about one of both? That'd be great.
Okay, cool. So I'll go non-active first. I would probably be Troy Percival. A, he's from Riverside. B, he's coaching UCR right now. But also when I was a kid, I didn't go to a lot of games as a kid. My parents weren't real big baseball people. So I watched every game, and then when they can, they would take me to a game. But I remember one game that stood out back when the players had to walk through a gated area to their cars. Fans would line up on that side of the gate and try to get stuff signed, hand stuff over, balls, magazines, or whatever. I'm a little kid. My mom's just here, hey, help, miss. And she doesn't know any of these players' names, so she just kind of is trying to get anyone's attention to sign the program. So this guy comes over, he flips over a couple pages, signs his name, and then, here you go. And she's like, oh, thank you very much. She hands it to me. I'm like, great. And again, at that point, I'm just happy to be at a game. I'm not really paying attention to what, who's who and anything like that. So fast forward about, 5 years later, when I'm able to actually kind of comprehend everything going on. I find that program, I open it up, and it was Troy Percival that signed. They did a full page picture of him in that program. He signed it. So since then, I'm like, he's local. He signed my first autograph ever, so he's my guy. As far as current Angels, obviously Mike Trout is easy to really love. Man, that's a hard one. Ohtani is just one of those guys that I don't think we'll see again, at least not at that level. So whenever those are the way I look at it is, if I'm at a game and there's someone either A, pitching or B, batting, I don't want to miss it. So that's the kind of guy where if I see he's up second in the next inning, I'm not going to get up and go get a beer. I'm not going to get up and go there to use a restroom. I'm going to sit there and wait, and then wait till his at bat, because I don't want to miss anything. And same thing when he's pitching. If they get the third out, I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to have to wait here and wait for the Angels to get 3 outs before I can do anything. So I think definitely Ohtani, just because I think his talent is just second to none, and is going to be something you don't see for a very long time. As far as the future holds, I like it. I'm really looking forward to it. Doing a lot of work with some of these minor league players like Joe Adell, Brandon Marsh, Chris Rodriguez. I gained to know them fairly well. If these guys continue to progress the way that people think, especially Joe, especially Brandon, I think it's going to be a really good future for the guys, and even the guys that have made their appearances already with the Angels that are young, like a Griffin Canning, Patrick Sandoval. Those arms are going to be very vital to the Angels. Maybe not this coming year, maybe not even in 2021, but in 2022 and beyond, where you start seeing Joe kind of come into his own, where you probably will see Brandon up with the team. Those guys are going to be the kind of the cornerstone of the Angels by then. And I think those guys, those young guys, again, health being what it is and can never predict that, I really like the future for the Angels, because there are a lot of good arms in the system now that kind of weren't there before.
Yeah, I mean, imagine what the Angels can be if they get some pitching. Like, oh my God, like
Well,
we
That's what
talk
we've been
about
saying for the
that
past
all
3-4
the
years. That's
time.
what it's been. Yep.
And and going back to what you were saying before, I grew up a Cardinal fan, so Albert Pujols was like my favorite player until he left. I was lucky because I got to watch him here. He basically came here, and so I got to follow him some more. But not that he's not my favorite player anymore. I still watch him quite a bit. But I remember that feeling of, if I went on the road and the Cardinals were playing, I'm like, I got to get top of the first inning. He's batting third.
Yeah.
So it's like I got to get there. I got to watch every at bat, and I was always rewarded with that. So Angelo has your next question.
So obviously you frequented Angel Stadium pretty often. So I know we kind of talked about Brew extensively, but what's your go-to stadium food at Angel Stadium?
So my go-to stadium food, if I'm like hungry and I need something I know is gonna hold me over for the whole game, it probably will be those nachos in your picture. I love those nachos, especially in the helmet. My wife will pick some of them off for herself, but for the most part, I can destroy that whole helmet of nachos, no problem. If it's something like where we came from, maybe ate something away from the park, and now we're getting there, you can't go wrong with a pretzel and maybe like a smaller hot dog. I mean, that's kind of like the secondary one. And then for the beer, I'm not gonna lie, like I kind of stay kind of around like the Bud Light, just because at those stadium prices, I don't want to be like, that's not gonna be the time for me to be like, hey, that looks good. I'm gonna try that one, because it's just like, if you don't like it, then you're out. What, $15?
Yeah.
So at the ballpark, I'll kind of go steady with like a Bud Light. Or free. I'm never going to turn that down. But yeah, I mean, those are probably my go-to, and it's just real easy, man. Get the nachos, get a beer, and then, like I said, every once in a while pop up, maybe go get another one. And I mean, that's a ball game for me. I love it.
That's awesome. Yeah, and when we go, and we'll hang out, and we'll take you to all the places that you should get a beer, and we will definitely.
That's the plan. Definitely.
We'll walk you right through it, because we know all the spots. My next one is I'm going to give you a bit of a Sophie's Choice here. So if you could bring one of these back, and then that's what it is for now on, which one are you choosing? California Angels, Anaheim Angels, or Los Angeles Angels?
So the periwinkle one in the middle is very funny, because John, my co-host, hates that logo. So part of me just wants to pick it just to make him mad, and just to be like, yeah, I want this one forever, because he does not like that logo at all. But with that being said, the one I would pick would probably be the California Angels. I love the logo. I love the name. I actually have that logo tattooed on my back. So I have to go with that one. But part of me really, really badly wants me to pick the periwinkle Anaheim Angels, just because, like I said, my co-host, he hates that. So anytime I can give him stuff about it, I do it all the time. But yeah, it's gonna be California Angels. I love the logo, love the name. I would pick that one all the time.
Yeah, and I'm so glad, because it's like one of those things of like, we could have a further discussion with this, but I'll cut it short, because it'll probably take over the whole podcast of the Los Angeles Angels. How I don't believe the Angels identify as a Los Angeles team, so it's always kind of one of those wink wink type of things.
I think real quick, I think if the Angels kept that name from when they were in LA and just moved to Anaheim and stayed the LA Angels for that whole time, I think it would have been fine. But the fact they went from LA and then they went to California, and then they went to Anaheim, and then back to LA, I think that's kind of what messed it all up. 100%.
And unfortunately, a lot of people don't know baseball history like we do, so they just assume that. In fact, I had somebody even tell me they were from New York, and they said, oh no, Boston, and they said like, Anaheim is right next to Los Angeles, right? It's just basically like, it's just a sister city. And it's like, it's two different separate places for sure that they identify differently.
Yeah, sit in 3 hours of traffic from one city to the other and tell me it's right next to
it should take you 45 minutes, but like you said, with that traffic, it's going to be 3 hours.
Yeah. I always love that one. It should take you an hour to get there. Yeah, it should. It doesn't.
Yeah, exactly.
So Angelo has your last question here.
Yeah, so just to kind of circle back to the last question, it was kind of funny because I never even thought of it in the context, but in our we have a baseball group chat with Mike and a few other guys. Someone pointed out that the literal translation of Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim is the Angels of Angels.
Yeah, yeah. That's
So
great.
it's like
Yeah.
kind of counterintuitive, but obviously we've seen all of Chris's pictures on Halo Haven, as well as some of yours and Johnny's that you've shared. But what's the most for you? What's the most obscure or most odd piece of Angels memorabilia that you own?
Odd or like obviously we have, since me and my wife have been together, we've been to every kind of like bobblehead night either there at 66ers, so we have all those bobbleheads. But as far as odd, oh man, when it comes down to Chris and Johnny, I am nowhere near that. Like they have a bunch of just random stuff. I just man, I don't know. Like we don't have anything odd, I guess. No, my wife is telling me the Calhoun rally wig, but that's a stadium giveaway. Everyone has that. I'm trying to think of unique. You know what?
Well, I mean, it could be a giveaway too. I mean,
that's cool. But we have like all the giveaways. I guess the biggest part, my favorite memorabilia. It's not really odd, but it's definitely one of a kind. Is that I've over the years of talking to Brandon Marsh and getting to know him, we were lucky enough to meet up with him in the 2019 spring training, take a picture with him, talk with him. We go to Angel game later that year, and we actually found his spring training game used jersey for sale, the jersey that he wore at Angel Stadium against the Dodgers. Wow. So I bought that right away. We took a trip down. Me and my brother took a trip down to the fall league that year, where him, Joe, Jemai Jones, and some other Angels were there. Got it signed, so that's definitely up in my closet, ready to get signed. But I guess for me, that's my favorite memorabilia. I just don't know if I have anything that would be considered odd or one of a kind from like a stadium giveaway kind of deal.
Mike, you've kind of you frequented a lot of games with Kevin and I. What's the most obscure giveaway or thing that you've got from Angel Stadium?
From Angel Stadium. Oh wow. That's a really good one. You know what? I'm actually gonna have somebody help me with that question.
Hey,
Kevin Lyon.
And he's wearing one of them, I'm sure.
This is
he is.
I have is this Ohtani shirt, but then they end up giving away one like this during the regular season last year. I'm trying to think, what's an odd item? I mean, I remember there was Ohtani socks that I could buy, and I think a friend of mine got me for Christmas. I'm like, that's a weird thing you could buy, like literally like themed player socks. I'm like, that seemed odd to me.
I have those too.
Flip flops, yeah, exactly. Like flip flops, Angels flip flops. There's like all kinds of weird stuff.
Yeah, and it wasn't super obscure, but the Ohtani one where he's batting and pitching, the bobblehead,
that's cool.
That was super cool. I thought that was super unique. But you know what? We always say this, and Kevin, we should bring this up.
Yeah,
a lot of the promotions, like we're really actually disappointed with a lot of the Angels promotions. Like we're like when Pujols was having his big season, they did nothing for it. Yeah. They had like the trout head or like a fish head or something like that. I mean, we never saw anybody wear any of those.
Do stuff, obviously.
The ones you can always count on though with the Angels giveaways is the bobbleheads.
Right.
But everything else is kind of a toss up. I mean, for me, the most obscure or odd piece of the odd giveaway that we got, which was actually really cool though, was Jeter's final season when he visited Angel Stadium. They did an on-field presentation, and the Angels gifted him a Yankee surfboard, which I thought was really cool.
That was cool.
But they gave away, it was a sealed baseball card that it was him from the back with the number 2, and on the back of the card it had all his career highlights. But it was just really interesting and that's kind of the impact that Jeter had on the game, that the Angels would honor him in that standpoint. And I had it up in my office for the longest time. I took our good friend Ed Brown to that game, and I'm sure he still has that card.
Yep.
So it was just really awesome to kind of see, them tribute and honor someone, in that fashion, to me kind of makes it obscure, right? So even though it was a stadium giveaway.
And one thing for this year, because I remember I saved the list. This year they're going to give away 5 Ohtani items, 5 giveaways just for Ohtani. I'm like, that's crazy. I mean, what about these other guys? You know, David Fletcher, a local guy from Cyprus. You know, you could do something for that for a local boy who's done really well with the team. You know.
Yeah, usually they do that for Trout. Usually they do that for Trout, where they just load up the giveaways with a bunch of Trout stuff, and then you'll sprinkle in a Pujols thing here or there. It's just they don't seem to diversify their giveaways to different players very well. And I think that's one thing that me and John and Chris have talked about before. Is just like, you know, you can, like you said, you can give it to Fletcher. He's a literally homegrown player. You know, these guys coming up that are the Cannings, you know, those guys, Robles, you know, guys that had a great year last year, you know, reward them with something.
Okay, an Undertaker Hansel Robles bobblehead be amazing.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that'd be tremendous.
One thing they do every year that's good is they do an interesting Rally Monkey giveaway each year. You know what I mean? Whether like at that time, like whatever promotional weekend is, like the Star Wars one the last couple of years. I think this year was I think it was a Ohtani one Kenobi. Oh, I'm sorry, that's a bobblehead. I remember. Oh, that's so. I remember last year they did the. It was like the Jedi pilot they did for him. I think they did do like an Obi-Wan or Luke Skywalker style one for him too, the Rally Monkey. But that's a fun little way to tie stuff for the kids too.
And something that kind of ties everything back to what we were talking about before about the food. They also did like an Ohtani dish. They did a Pujols dish.
At the
a Trout dish. I thought that was really unique, and it was only at a certain place. So I thought that was really super unique, and only something you would know if you went to the stadium quite a lot.
It's called the Change-Up Kitchens on the first base side on the terrace level.
Awesome.
Every minute there'd be a different player, and it'd be themed for that guy, like his ethnicity or something like that. It's a really cool thing.
I think it's the old Panda Express, if I remember correctly.
Yes, that's right.
No, the old Panda Express is the Chronic Taco.
Oh
yeah.
Oh, okay, I thought that's what that used to be on terrace. Okay.
Right. Jack Durango, empty stadiums when they come back. Absolutely. Yes. No doubt. And then he also said, when Kevin came in, boom, it just got handsome in here. So
Kevin, are you commenting on our blogcast?
This is burner.
It's in your burner account?
I'm not Jack Durango, by the way. Jack Durango is not me. That's a real person. That's when I paid off.
I'm just in the same place at the same time. I don't know.
All right. So it is now time for Baseball Pack Wars. Let me go back to this. Yes. Baseball Pack Wars. As always, we get all of our baseball cards from Hall of Fame Baseball Cards in Arcadia, California, HOFBC.com. Daniel Garcia did not get those. Where did you get your cards from?
Local Target, man. I had a couple of runs, but you know, I was able to get there because I was just worried about the turnaround, getting it here on time. So I'm like, let me go for the sure thing and make sure they're I got them in hand and I don't have to worry about it.
That's amazing. And everybody who's been guesting in this has done a really good job on that and found these. So I'm very impressed by that. What's that?
And they've been winning.
They've been winning.
I got a lot of pressure on myself. Yeah. Even though this is my first time here, I got to keep up with what's going on because I just,
pressure. We're going to put the whammy on you.
Yeah.
Here are the rules. You open your pack. A relic card knocks out one participant of choice. That's very important here because now we have 4 people playing. If you get an autograph card, it knocks out 2 participants, meaning if we were at set 3, that would have knocked out everybody and you would have won the round, but you would have one person you still have to compete with. After all packs are opened, high number card wins, and we all collectively drink when we get a Brewers card. So here are the standings. So even though it's 5-3, 625 winning percentage, Kevin is he was at 500 at one point, but we're all under 500. So this tells you how hard it is actually to win.
I just want to say real quick that Angelo got his first wins after he was on the podcast. So you're welcome.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Yeah, he was very appreciative of that.
3 in a row he had.
And Bubble Pug says, let's see those Brewer cards. Please. And I could not agree more.
You're ready.
Salud. All right. So our guest, Daniel Garcia, you choose the pack and you go for it.
All right. I'm going to go with, let's go opening day.
Okay.
So I got one here.
Tell you what. Open both of them for opening day. We're gonna do because there's only 7 cards in each, so we'll have 14 cards. So
okay,
open
so as in,
both.
gotcha. So, all right, that's cool. So I'll go first one. Reese Hawkins from the Phillies. I got Sterling Marte from the Pirates. Who's this? Victor Robles from the World Series winning Nationals. Scott Kingery again from the Phillies. Kyle Seager from Seattle.
Corey's brother.
Corey, yeah, his player's weekend name is Corey's brother. I love how that came out. And then Mrs. Met for
right on. That's cool.
for the mascot. So now open up my second pack. D. Gordon, we talked about earlier. That's kind of a coincidence. Joey Lacusi from I don't think I'm not saying that right, but the pitcher from the Padres, right? San Diego.
I think it's Lucchesi.
Lucchesi, yeah. Okay. Eric Hosmer again from the down south in San Diego. Michael Chavez from the Indians. Man, I have no Brewers so far. This is pretty crazy. Zach Greinke from the Astros. And the guy that had a breakout year last year, Juan Soto, from again the World Series Nationals. And then another mascot, we got the Mariner Moose.
All right.
So that's it.
Nice. Angelo, you're up.
All right. So
And Daniel, be sure you look for your high card.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now.
Gotcha.
Brendan McKay, Tim Anderson, Gleyber Torres, Evan Longoria, Lance Lynn, Austin Riley, and Kansas City Royals opening day. Second pack. Hunter Renfroe. We got John Means, Marco Gonzalez, Nelson Cruz, Dakota Hudson, Matt Chapman, and I also got the Mariner Moose.
Wow, so 2 times it's still no Brewers. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, what is going on? Kevin, you're up.
Well, I'm up. All right. I don't want a Mariner Moose. I want a Brewer. How about that?
Bernie Brewer, get in there.
It's deja vu all over again. Here's John Means. Marco Gonzalez. Eugenio Suarez. Scott Kingery. I think, didn't one of you guys?
I had that one, yeah.
Kyle Seager.
Wow.
Starlin Castro. And the Mariners Moose. Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, Billy the Marlin.
Oh, man.
Where's Bernie Brewer? Get
Right?
on.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I jinxed it by saying, give me a Brewer, you know?
Hey, you sold that. You sold the Moose pretty good, though.
I was like, dang.
I'm like, man. Okay, I got Michel Baez from the Padres. Get your cups ready, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan Braun.
Hey.
Cheers. Oh my goodness! Pick up your cups again. Got Keston Hiura.
Yeah.
Hey, that works for me. Yeah, there you go.
I think it up earlier. All right. Charlie Principal Blackman. That's for you, Michael, that joke.
Evan Longoria,
yeah. We got Lance Lynn.
I got that one, yep.
And lastly, opening day, the Cincinnati Reds.
Nice.
All right, Michael,
Right
you're
on.
up.
And Kevin is considered the lush of our group, even though that we're Beer Baseball Blog. Kevin is considered, he goes above and beyond when it comes to, and so he got 2 brewers, so it doesn't surprise.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
And I just got here, and this is almost empty already. I'm like, oh god.
All right.
I usually have a second one on standby. I'm like, oh no, I don't yet.
Brian Anderson, Marlins. This guy.
That guy.
That guy. All right.
Alex Verdugo. I love Altuve. Man, what a bummer, right? Domingo Santana. Carter Kieboom. I don't know why I can say that.
Easy for you. Easy for you to say. By
Oh my God, that wasn't my internet. That was me.
Yeah, let me see.
It's because I saw this guy. I was getting verklempt. I was like, hey, dude. Yeah, no, F off. And then, this is cool. A judge's court. All rise.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, that's cool.
No, sit down, Kevin.
All right, all rise. All right.
It's amazing because like that. These are the things I'd love for like the Beer Baseball blog to be a Ellen and Ginter card or something like this. That is my goal in life. I'm not kidding you. It could happen.
Yeah, I can see that. Yes, sir.
One of my favorite comedians, Brody Stevens. I've collected 4 of his autographs. He's passed away since, but those are the types of things I love, like stuff like that. He's just he's a comedian and he has an Allen and Ginter card. Pete Alonso, which would be the kill card in our other packs.
Oh, that's the other pack. Okay, good. Because I knew it was in one of them. I just couldn't remember which one. I was like,
it's Manny Machado's the kill card in this we discovered.
okay.
This is Michael Baez. Get your cups ready, Brian.
There you go.
Wow, we got all the duplicates today.
Don't look at his FedEx packages, but that's
That's
a secret. Thank you.
Angelo's looking pretty light over there. I'm not going to say anything.
Hey,
Zach Plesac, James Paxton, Eduardo Escobar, and opening day Cincinnati Reds. Did somebody else have that too?
What I got. Yeah. So we actually got double on the inserts even. That's great.
There you go. Yeah.
So Jack Durango, in my limited baseball knowledge, I don't know any of the brewers, so I'm drinking every card.
Hey, that works too.
God bless. God bless. Nice work. Hey, Bubble Pug. Bubble Pug, who is actually a Brewers fan, so she's loving all this. Daniel, my card.
It would be, I have D. Gordon, and he is 192.
Ooh, good. That's really good because it's 200 in the set.
That's why I thought.
Yeah. Hunter Renfroe, 191.
Wow.
Oh. Ouch. I have Starlin Castro, number 201. Oh, I'm sorry, 181. Sorry. 181.
Don't work us on that one, Kev.
157.
Oh,
all right.
One for the guest. One for the
Yeah.
guest.
All right, as long as I don't get blanked, I'm good. Like everything else is gravy from now on, so I'm good with that.
Oh my
You're
God.
extending your lead.
Yeah.
All right,
I don't know
2020.
if you're winning anything, but you're extending the lead.
Yeah.
2020 tops. Hit it.
All right, 2020 tops.
All right.
All right.
I can't believe that there's actually people doing yard work literally like 20 feet from me. This is my nightmare day. I cannot.
I can't hear it, so you're good.
Okay, thank God.
Luis Castillo, pitcher from the Reds. Yamir Sanchez from the Sox. Zach Collins, also from the Sox. Matt Carpenter from St. Louis Cardinals. Hunter Dozier from the Kansas City Royals. Nico Horner, yep, from the Cubbies. Justin Turner from across the town, LA Dodgers.
Dr. Zayas.
Oscar Mercado from the Indians.
I'm just guessing, by the way.
I'm gonna say Oscar Gamble. I mean, I don't know.
Takuchi again from Seattle, pitcher.
Yes. UCA.
Mike Sciorca from the Braves.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Frazier from the Pirates. Tommy Edman from the Cardinals as well. And then like a throwback vintage, it looks like Al Kaline
Ooh,
from
those are nice.
Nice.
Tigers.
Oh, that's a cool card.
And then Joey Gallo in a kind of a retro-ish kind of.
What's that? I
Oh,
haven't seen that.
wow.
Yeah,
I've
nice.
never heard of those before.
Yeah.
He just joins us. He got an answer none of us have gotten yet. Good job.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Wow, he's not
Michael
done.
Chavez
Wow.
from the Sox. And then Brian Anderson from the Florida Marlins. Or Miami Marlins, my bad.
Right on. All right, Angelo, you're up. Colin
All right.
Duncan says, Matt Carpenter, my favorite Cardinal. Go Cardinals. Matt Carpenter had a salsa that had his enhanced his hitting streak a couple years ago.
The things
What
they
a
find.
surprise that Michael is showing what a Cardinals fan is posting. There's no bias there.
Yeah, none whatsoever.
So we got Sonny Gray, Fernando Tatis Jr., Tim Anderson, Tyler Glasnow, Yusi Kikuchi,
Hey, Andrew just got that.
Mike Soroka,
Wait, you just got that one too, Daniel.
Yeah, I did.
Adam
And-
Frazier, Robbie Grossman. Really great action shot there, actually.
That's nice.
Jalen Davis.
Another good action shot there.
Yep. Tommy Pham.
Former Cardinal.
We
Sorry.
talked about him earlier. Anthony Rendon. Hopefully, you guys can see this. It's a
Ooh.
yeah,
Like a
Like a
Kroger
hologram.
Yep.
hologram. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, Charlie Culberson. We got a Jeff McNeil feature stars and JT Riddle.
Right.
Kevin, you're up.
All right, as the lush, let's see if I can get any Brewers here for us.
I know me and Angelo are striking out with that.
Well, now the pressure's on. You know what I mean? All right, let's see what we got here. We got Francisco Lindor, Jose Berrios, Luke Jackson, Mike Tauchman, from the Yankees. From the Padres, Austin Hedges. Uh-oh, I jinxed myself, didn't I? Let's see here. Aaron Hicks from the Yankees. Jacoby Jones from the Tigers. Trey Turner from your World Champion Nationals. I haven't seen this card yet. I don't think this is. It says Christian and Nolan Games Best Talk Shop. I haven't seen this one before, but it's a regular set. That's one of those 2-player cards. So Yelly and Nolan Arenado. Oh, and that's funny. After that, I got another dual card that's still a regular card in the set. Like father, like son. Legacy players. There's the sons. There's Biggio and Bichette, the next generation. Kevon and Bo. And right after that, Kevon Biggio. Like, all right. And I got the my 1985 duplicate card is Zach Collins on the White Sox. And I got Nick Markakis. And I did jinx myself indeed because my last card is Luke Voigt. No Brewers.
All right.
All right, Michael, you're up.
Did you get a Yelich card in there?
It was. I thought I heard that too. It was part of the
Yeah.
double, the 2-person one. Isn't
That's-
it?
No, it's just a regular card in the set.
Right, but if it's yellow,
Brewer.
you take.
That's a Brewer card.
I mean, we're still.
Oh.
I mean, we'll stretch it out. I mean, that's cool. That
Come
works
on,
too.
Kevin.
Hey.
I saw Christian and Nolan, and I'm like, oh, yeah, Yelich. Hey, thank you guys for keeping me on track.
Thank you. All right, so I'm gonna whip through this. Let's do
Go
it.
for it.
I'm going to pray for no relic.
Yeah, for real.
There's the jinx. Won't jinx
yeah.
us.
Yeah.
Please.
Josh Bell, Jonathan Villar, Robinson Cano.
Thank you for that.
Thank you. Desperate Housewife, Evan Longoria.
Funny.
Jordan Zimmerman. Abraham Toro. Adalberto Mondesi.
Another kid.
Herman Marquez. I can roll my R's forever here.
Wow, good job. I can't do that.
Jake Lamb. No.
Oh.
All right. Get your drinks up. Ben Gamal.
Yay!
Salud. Bubble Pug.
I gotta take sips. I'm almost out of beer.
I know.
The one week I bring one.
Starling Marte. Emilio Pagan. Oh, actually, this one is actually interesting because I didn't. It's actually upside down, but it has this little numbering on the back. It's 277 out of 300.
Oh,
So
wow.
if you look on the back of it, sometimes these are like short prints. I'm not sure why or how.
You know that card that Angelo, were you the one who got the Charlie Culberson one?
It was a regular numbered. It wasn't specially
Yeah.
numbered.
So sometimes they're numbered, sometimes they aren't. Javier Baez.
There you go.
And let's get those glasses out.
Wow, all
Chase
right.
Anderson.
I feel like I'm the lucky charm. I don't know.
All right, Daniel. High card.
I got 324 Mike Soroka, and I think Angelo got the same car if I remember.
I did 324.
Oh my God, that's both your high card?
Both
We
are
have
high
a
cards.
High
So
card? Wow.
see what happens.
Well, hi guys, I got Luke Voigt 335.
Oh,
But the
so it doesn't
card-
matter.
Yeah, I was really interested to see what the tiebreaker is going to be, but it doesn't matter.
Come on, Michael. You got 335. Luke Voigt to beat.
344 Ben Gamma.
Oh, got him.
And it's a brewer too. That should be like
Hey,
Hey,
make you all drink.
Let's drink
Yeah,
to
there you
that.
go. I like that. rule.
Salud. Salud.
I'm at the full run the first 5 feet away.
All right. So I'll whip through our last pack here so we can get this and we can get the trivia and we can wrap this up.
And I'm gonna have another beer in 5 seconds.
Kevin, that's never your policy to have another beer. I'm lying.
I was late.
Wow, that was
Yeah,
close. I would have to go all the way downstairs. So.
Hey, you didn't have to go
Nice.
far.
The joy of
He's
the
a
studio apartment.
He's a professional drinker.
Yeah.
Cody Bellinger, I've heard of him.
He's all right.
Kevin, drink up. Ryan Braun.
Hey.
I haven't poured my drink yet. Hang on.
Hanser Alberto. Trent Thornton. Max Funky Muncie. Andres Munoz. This is awesome. Master and Apprentice.
Wow.
Nelson Cruz and not Gary Garver, but who's
You don't even know his apprentice.
Mitch Garver. Mitch Garver.
Yes. Thank you.
And a close call. Goodrum hangs on after swiping second. This is a little variation card. Scott Kingery. That's a cool card.
You got a lot of him today.
Masahiro Tanaka. Ian Desmond. Josh Bell. This is actually, this is interesting. It's a promotions card.
Oh.
Oh,
Home run
awesome.
challenge. So if you scratch that off, I might win something. If I scratch it off, we all win.
There we go.
That's a new policy. We enter all these contests. We say we all win. So
Yes, sir.
we try to enter more. This guy
Yeah.
and Jake Rogers. So Daniel, go for it.
All right.
Michael, I'm disappointed you didn't say Cody Bellinger rolling your letters there. I was hoping. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
First one is a goodbye home run. Looks like a walk-off celebration for the Cubbies.
Yep.
Okay, I think
Yeah.
I was at that game. That
Yeah,
game that you have in your hand, I was at that game. That's a Kyle Schwarber.
Yep.
Mhm.
It is.
I was
walk-off
at that
home run.
game last year.
Yes.
Nice.
How about that? Yeah.
That was right. You got a
up.
card for that. Yeah. Then Roberto Perez. Trying to roll my R's now too.
All right. Come on.
Come on,
And I got Freddie Palatau. I don't know how to say his last name.
Peralta.
Brewer
and a
pitcher.
brewer.
And a
And a brewer.
yeah.
That's right. My first brewer. All right. There you go.
Dan's gonna be drunk in a little bit. Sorry, Dan.
I know, right? Yeah.
We're coming fast and furious.
Logan Allen, pitcher for the Indians. Roman Leonardo bleh, from the A's.
That's a nice picture too.
Angel favorite, no longer an Angel, but will continue to be one of my favorite. Cole Calhoun.
Yep.
Alvin
That's
Alvin
Kevin's guy.
Arizona right now. Jesus Luzardo, pitcher, your Oakland A's.
Not my Oakland A's.
Not your Oakland A's. I guess I'll just be like that guy.
That
you
guy.
Yep.
I want to be cool too. Jorge Alfaro, the catcher for the Miami Marlins.
Yes.
Liam Hendricks, pitcher, Oakland A's. I feel like I'm getting a lot of A's.
Sorry.
Soaking it all in. Another walk-off celebration. This time with the Yankees, with it looks like a water or Gatorade shower afterwards.
I was not at.
You were not at that one.
No.
Juan Soto. I got this card on my last one. Reese Hopkins and the throwback Phillies the blue
nice.
uniforms. I love those uniforms. Another one of the kind of throwback looking ones. Trey Mancini from the Orioles.
Oh, cool.
See, now this is funny. He's gotten 2 of those, and we've done this whole time. We've gotten none of those cards, and you got 2.
Yeah.
Sam Hilliard, the Rockies, and then Kiki Hernandez again from the LA Dodgers.
Yeah.
Yep. Nice. A solid player.
Angelo, go for it.
All right.
And Daniel, so that Reese Hopkins card, it's a duplicate of the 1985 top set.
Okay, yeah. All right.
You didn't know. I'm just letting you know. We've had some cool cards in there.
Michael Brissau. Tyler White. Dustin May. Hunter Dozier. Anibal Sanchez. Marwin Gonzalez. Melky Cabrera. Justin Verlander. Brock Holt. Trevor Bauer. Former Angel CJ Crone. The Crone Zone.
Yes. Thank you.
Decade's best, Andy Pettit, New York Yankee. Shout out Lee Brown.
Yep.
Anthony Santander and Mike Fiers.
Nice. Kevin, up.
I have to say, we have 3 Angels fans, and I feel like we've gotten like only former Angels, not current Angels.
Yeah, we haven't got. You're right.
I haven't gotten any Angels this whole time here. Hopefully, I can change that. Now I jinxed it, of course. All right, from the Cubs, Anthony Rizzo. From the Phillies, Nick Pivetta. From the Reds, Derek Dietrich. From the San Diego Padres, Matt Strom. Again, from the Padres, future star, started off awesome last year, Chris Paddock. And now it out in the end of Lake Elsinore, also a week or 2 later. From the Twins, Jorge Polanco. From the Mariners, Domingo Santana. Again, Evan Longoria. I feel like we got a lot of him today. Way too much Desperate Housewives going on here. Another Yadier Molina, from your team.
My team.
Oh, I have to get this team card. I gotta get the Astros team card. I almost said another name, which I shouldn't say. And then this is where it gets better. My next card is another team card. The Washington Nationals. I got the Washington back to back, and I dropped my whole pack. Luke Voigt. I just dropped that one. Thank goodness. And George Springer. And Jake Rogers. Yeah, I totally jinxed myself. No Brewers, no Angels. No, nothing.
You notice that? So, Brock Holt, is he a brewer now? I saw that in the comments.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, let's do it.
yeah.
You're going out the car.
You might as well. All right. We're very easy.
Somebody could put in there like, "Oh, is Mike Trout a brewer now?" Like, I don't know, but we'll drink.
Yeah, who knows? At this point, he could be.
Yeah, whatever. All right.
And, Bubble Pug says yes, he is.
Thank you.
So,
this out here. Thank you.
okay, so this is going to be hard to beat.
God.
Another brewer. All the brewers are high. 347.
Ooh, that is high.
That's going to be hard to beat.
323, Tyler White. So you got me there.
I don't know if you can see that.
Yay.
349. And the best part is it's that guy.
It's that guy. Yeah. I'm
You got
sorry to
Kevin?
tell you, but I can't beat that guy either. Luke Voigt 335 is my highest.
All right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Guess again.
Oh.
Guess was 2-1.
Great job, guys.
Unbelievable.
Great
Nice.
job, guests.
No more
That
guess.
is fantastic. Yeah,
No
for
more
real.
guess.
Right?
I just ruined it for everyone in the future. They're like, nope, sorry.
The guests are 7-4.
And we're 7-4, and then 2. We got a bunch of Brewers cards this round too. So, I mean,
Totally.
I think as the guest, I think it worked out really well.
I think it worked out.
I think Daniel just earned a spot on the show.
Hey,
I know,
I'll take it.
exactly.
hey, I love Card Shop Eric, but I'm just saying maybe we should go to Target next time.
That's the secret. Yes.
And hey, today, when Top Gun Talwar was a guest, I bought a card at Target.
Yes,
Yep.
that's why I said that.
That is too funny.
Target is 5-3.
Yeah.
that-
Don't put
Tar-
guest, put Target.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works out great.
It should be Target is 7-4.
Target, guess, Card Shop Eric.
Agreed.
Compare
So
the number.
funny.
Who's the statistician of your baseball blog? Probably me.
This
Hey,
is like
we-
this is like going to Vegas. It's all worked cards for sure.
Yep.
All right. So this is where we can all make it back. Baseball trivia.
Oh.
You get to test your knowledge of America's pastime. This is how we'll end this.
All right.
Great. Who holds the record for most RBIs in a season by a left-handed hitter? Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, George Brett, or David Ortiz? Angelo.
Man, this is a tough one. I'm gonna go with C. George Brett. No proof, no evidence. Just a big George Brett fan. So let's go
All right.
C. George Brett.
I may have to share something with Angelo after the show then about George Brett.
we may have to have a whole episode on that.
About his story? Yes. Oh,
Yes.
God.
I'll find out when it happened and we'll talk about it.
Thank you.
Okay. Daniel.
I'm seeing a lot of B's in the comment and seeing that I've only seen one of these guys actually play in person. I might go with Lou Gehrig on this one. I'll go B.
Okay. Kevin.
My gut is telling me David Ortiz. So I'm not going to go.
Wow.
Okay.
Of a Red Sox. Oh, I don't know why my gut's telling me that.
So in the comments, Matt takes B. Kobe Archer takes B.
Uh-oh.
And the answer is Lou Gehrig.
Yay!
185 RBIs in 1931, an American League record in only 155 games.
Oh my God.
Surprisingly, only came in second in the MVP voting. Lefty Grove, who was 31-4 that year.
Talk about a win total you'll never see again. Jeez.
Yeah.
100%. And
that's not even the Major League records. The Hack Wilson, who has the all-time record for RBIs, I believe.
in the National League, yes. Yeah, and he was in the National League, so that's the National League record. Yeah. Nicely done. So let's go to our second question.
All right.
Only one of these players did not score 2,000 runs in a career. Now, let me do this little sidebar here. Scoring runs is a very underrated statistic. And, like we talked about Ricky Henderson like about a month ago. And like, of course, he got himself in a scoring position, scored runs. That's how you win games, right? So who did not score 2,000 runs in their career? All of these players have over 20-year careers.
Yes.
A, Pete Rose. B, Willie Mays. C, Hank Aaron. D, Stan Musial. Angelo.
I'm gonna go with Stan Musial on this one. Matt Massingham said D, and he was right on the first one, so I'm not gonna doubt his knowledge on the second question. So D, Stan Musial. Also, two different, kind of parallel to kind of the timeline of all these other players, but I'll go D, Stan Musial.
Right on. Daniel.
Oh, I feel like you put Pete Rose on there for a reason. I feel like most times it'd be like, oh, no way, it can't be Pete Rose. He's the career hit leader. There's no way he can, if that's the right answer. So for that, I'm just going to be like, you know what? I'm going to say A, Pete Rose, because no one would ever think it.
Kevin.
Well, I mean, I will give you logically why I'm going to say this. This whole time I think it's either Pete Rose, Stan Musial. I mean, Pete Rose with all those hits, played for about 25, 26 years. Willie Mays, 755 home run. I'm sorry, Willie Mays, 660 home runs, I believe. Hank Aaron, 755. Musial at around 521. See, this tells you where I grew up as a kid. So I'm going Musial because he had the less amount of home runs and he played less than Pete Rose. So I'm going D.
So my answer to this would have been C, because I'm thinking to myself, okay, like he hit some solo home runs, right? That's only one. Right, exactly. Let me show the comments. Kobe Archer, A. Matt Massingham, D. Bubble Pug, D.
All right.
Colin Duncan,
A lot of D's.
D. Yeah. Kobe Archer, Pete, David, D. And then Matt Massingham actually says, stop piggybacking me, Angelo. That's an Angel fan, by the way. Right?
Matt, I've been piggybacking you for almost 20 years. So why stop now?
Yep.
Jack Durango, who says Kevin is handsome, goes with Hank Aaron.
I'm glad we got at least one vote for Hank. But no one's saying Willie Mays.
Yeah, very surprising, right?
No,
but the answer is D.
Yeah. Matt, you did not steer me wrong, brother.
See, I can disgrace a Cardinal. I can do it.
Great. And you know that disgrace.
Yeah, well, still, 1949 is pretty. Yeah, so here it is in incremental order. Very interesting because a lot of people don't concentrate on this stat, right. And I think it's totally important for a winning team, right? So very, very interesting. And this is totally fun because I love this also because I feel like when I put these pictures in here and then you look at them, you're like, oh my God, no, he can't do it. He can't do it. There's a lot of doubt in this. And I had so much doubt when I look at these players. I'm like, wow, what are these statistics? One of the things that I love about this trivia is that we get to really experience this was before my lifetime.
Right.
He played. Did he play into my lifetime?
No. Right.
When did Stan Musial quit playing baseball?
1949 runs. He would have started, I think, in the. I think he started in the 40s. I think he was done by the early 60s.
Yeah.
He was on the 40s teams that won the World Series, like him, Mina Slaughter, Joe Garagiola. They were an amazing team back in the 40s.
63, I think it was his last year.
Was his last year.
Right.
That's nuts. That's when the Beatles started, right? So
wait a second. Wait, let me say something. That's when Pete Rose started. Pete Rose started 63. So that's why I'm saying he started. As crazy as that is.
And look at that fresh faced Pete Rose right there.
Yeah. I think sometimes that's the funniest part for me, as seeing some of these older guys now walk around and make appearances here and there, and then when you do something like this where you put back their player card or back, and he's like, wow, man, he looks so different, just a thinner younger version of himself that you at least for myself I've never seen.
So Daniel, you Your answer was Pete Rose on that one, right?
Yeah, just because I feel like it was so obvious that it wasn't going to be him that it had to be him.
Hey, had the question had been which of these four was Tombstone Pile Drove by Kane?
It would have been Pete Rose. Yeah,
you would have won.
Dude, it's funny though too. We kind of talked about this after the podcast or before the podcast. I can't remember. That's my wheelhouse with the wrestling. Like the stuff. Like I don't pay attention too much, but like back then, I'm like, oh yeah, definitely. I remember all of that. Yeah, I was.
Hey, everyone watched wrestling in '98, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If we ever get money on, that'll be like the beer baseball wrestling podcast.
Was he in the San Diego chicken costume in that?
He was in the San Diego chicken costume.
Yep.
Kevin, who was the San Diego chicken? Ted.
Hey, I'm not gonna say his last name. Kayfabe.
What?
You know, I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
Hey, K Fizzle. K Fizzle.
There he is. Right there.
All right. So that is the Beer Baseball Blogcast for this week. Daniel, do you want to give any plugs to where we can find you?
Yeah, so obviously Halo Haven. We're pretty much on any kind of social media you're on, so like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Halo_Haven on those Instagram and Twitter would be the easiest way to find us on there. And then obviously the All Angels podcast, passion project of myself and Johnny's. We really enjoy doing it. We always try to get fan interaction, but you can find that anywhere you find podcasts. So like the iOS, so iPhone, iPad, anything like that. Plus, the Spotify's, the iHeartRadio, stuff like that. So anywhere you find podcasts or you look for podcasts, we will be there. We're trying to do weekly right now. And now that the season looks like it's actually going to start picking up, we're going to go to twice a week. So really looking forward to that. Angel fans, baseball fans, we really invite everyone to check it out. At least, give it a listen. But we're always also looking for advice. So on our social media feeds, our DMs are open. So if you have not only for our social media stuff, we can do something better. We're always open to that. Podcasts, if we can do something better, we're always open to that. So definitely give us a listen, give us a check, give us a like, give us a follow. We really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, and we'll do whatever we can to help promote
I
you.
appreciate that.
If you have anything that's coming up,
and I appreciate that completely. You guys have been great with me as far as when you guys were jumping on the podcast. And, even today, I'm glad Kevin made it because I wasn't sure. So I'm glad the whole crew made it out, and I just had tons of fun. And anytime you need me to pitch it for someone or just wanted a guest on, I am 100% available for you guys. I had an absolute blast on my third beer right now as we speak. So obviously I had a good time.
You're in, Daniel.
Yeah, you're initiated in. This is us jumping you in.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, because we'll do a live stream on our Instagram and we'll do a live stream when we do the podcast on our Facebook. And from time to time, you will see me be drinking as the podcast is going. I have like a little cooler next to me, and so this is just a second nature to me. So I love it. This is great.
Right on. Angelo, what's up?
Yeah, so again, you guys know me, not a lot of social media happening, but I did want to shout out Baseballism. Mike's representing them today, so am I, with my Cali Bats Irvine tee. But check out baseballism.com. They have a huge 4th of July sale right now, up to 40% off selected items. And they have some special 4th of July products, one of which I ordered. They're also giving away a free Flagman lapel pin with every order. So shout out to Baseballism. Send us free stuff if you guys want. That'd be great.
Yeah.
But definitely one of Mike's and mine.
So if they give you something, you guys share it. And I was on this episode.
Yes, exactly.
All right, cool. All right. I just want to, make sure I slide in there and be like, hey, I was on that episode. So,
Exactly.
Daniel, you were a fantastic guest today. So thank you
I had a blast.
For jumping on, man. And dude, being a fellow Angels fan, I certainly can't wait to get to the ballpark with you at some point.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. And that's one of my goals too. We are going to have either a Baseballism Beer Baseball Blog hat or shirt at some point. That is my goal for this. Kevin Lyon, do you have where can we find you?
First off, I have to quote an exact quote that Michael Mondragon said earlier. If we win, we all win. So if we get a baseball item, you get two, Daniel. All right.
I'm hooked. Just slide me a hat over here. I'm good with that. Slide me a shirt over here. I'm good. I'm more than happy with that.
I don't think I have a Baseballism hat yet. Just
I will say, yearly tradition. Every time we're in spring training, me and the guys, we always make a trip out to Baseballism. I always buy a shirt, a hat, or this year I even bought a jacket. So I love that place as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. We got the one in Irvine now that just opened a few months ago. So good up. So big ups to them. For myself, I have an Instagram and Twitter at Locknloll. That's LOKNLOLL. And as always, I just ask for people support your local breweries. We want them to stay around after all this. And cheers.
100%. And I think Kevin is also fishing as well because his birthday is next Tuesday.
Oh,
so anything, yes, yeah, anything.
He's
Yeah.
21 again, right? 21 again.
Yes, exactly. He's gonna be 21 for like the 15th time.
Exactly.
So again, please like and subscribe. Any support we can get to keep this going, we definitely appreciate. Thank you for joining us today live. Again, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and also a Beer Baseball blog on YouTube. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. We are about a fourth of the way there. It's been a long haul, but this has been a labor of love. So anything you can help us with, we super appreciate. Thank you so much. We will not see you at the brewery, although it's coming soon.
Maybe,
we will not see you at the stadium, but we will see you here next week, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you so much for joining us. You guys hang out, but we're going to end this broadcast. Salud.
Thanks.
Good night.
Peace.